house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes, the house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
I've been practicing this pitch.
A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody? This is the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan. With me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
Yo.
This is episode 254. We are on to the round of 32. The first round of the March Madness tournament is in the books. We're up late. It is we're like right at midnight. We waited for UConn and Furman to get finished, and then first thing, we're right in the studio recording, giving you our best bets for the second round. We will be bright and early heading out to the casino and to go camp out in the sports book for Saturday. Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. It's been a pretty good start to the tournament, if you ask me. It's been a good start betting-wise for myself. All of our brackets are in play. We're feeling good. 6-3. Betting the first round for myself brings me to 45-31 overall. We're going to try to have more success here in the second round. I've got a handful of plays over the course of Saturday and Sunday. How are you feeling? A little tougher go for you, but
Yeah, I can't catch a break.
yeah, we had two completely polar opposite runs throughout this first round. That's what we were coming to the conclusion before we started recording, where even like some personal plays that I had where everything was coming up in my favor, just about, where you had a little bit tougher go.
Yeah, some of the bets I gave on the podcast, I had a bad break in the VCU, UNC under. But
And Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Which I was also on. They played like shit, but meaning they still won by 10 by playing really sloppy and lacking enthusiasm, I felt like. So we had Vanderbilt minus 11.5. They win by 10 with playing just a really poor game. I felt like, because I went 6-3. Two of my losses, one was Vanderbilt. The other one was Kansas, who had a 15-point lead. They were up 20 for 60%, 70% of that game. They were up 15 with like 4 minutes to go and then just collapsed down the stretch. So I crying over spilled milk. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess. 6-3, two probably should have been winners in my opinion. But yeah, I felt like Vanderbilt just looked unprepared, which I was not expecting. That was kind of the trend in this first round, was I wanted to back the teams that were coming off of a tough loss in their conference tournament. And it was a very profitable strategy, but Vanderbilt did not really answer the bell.
Yeah, and then the bad luck just didn't stop there. Plays I didn't give out. I laid 2.5 with North Carolina. They were up 19 and lost outright. So today I had UCLA minus 5.5. They were up 10 with 2 minutes left. And almost melted the game away. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're having two different goes because, yeah, I mean, you can hear it in your voice. I had a great day. So it's funny how this game works where, I mean, it's the way it goes. It's where when it's bad for you, it's great for somebody else and vice versa. The first round of the tournament, really day one, you had the High Point upset. You had the VCU comeback. It wasn't really an upset, but big-time collapse from North Carolina, probably going to cost Hubert Davis's job. But for the most part, I would say it's been a chalky tournament, as I expected. Granted, I felt like the SEC would have a little bit better of a showing. We just saw Missouri play like complete dumb fucks, and then you saw Georgia get run out of the building by St. Louis. But all in all, I mean, outside of High Point, what am I missing? High Point had the upset over Wisconsin. Really not much. Santa Clara wouldn't have been much of an upset, but that was the story of Friday right out the gates. And the first game of the day is always deliver. Santa Clara, Graves, the kid from Ponchatoula, hits a 3 in a tie ball game, 2.5 seconds left. Rails a 3 to take the lead. And then while they're back celebrating, Otega Oweh's hitting a half-court shot to tie it and send it to overtime, and Kentucky goes and pulls it out. But that was like my jaw dropped when he banked that in. That was sick because Graves hit a nasty, what looked like game winner, and then Oweh right back at you. But yeah, like I said, pretty much a chalky tournament. We got brackets firmly in play. Our bracket challenge, that just triggered in my brain. We got something serious to address, and we don't have a lot of time. Like I said, it's late. It's midnight. We got to get these picks out, and we got to get this episode out ASAP, but we have to address this. Everyone listening, and who knows, the real sickos are going to be listening to this right before the round of 32 starts. But this is what we do. We get back in here, and we give you our best bets. But we got to talk about Bam, who's not with us. Bam's asleep right now, probably mouth open, drool down his fucking chin. Bam sat in here, and this is a crazy move because out of the kindness of my heart, I'm a one-time, should have been two-time, and we could talk about three-time, but I'm one-time bracket challenge winner of 100-plus people. Out of the kindness of my heart, I sit here and I give everybody my number one bracket. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think I know more than the average person when it comes to college basketball. So take that for what it's worth. I think my track record's proven. Point being, I'm willing to sit here and give you my entire first bracket. And I understand the risk is that there's people in the bracket challenge may just copy it completely. Nobody's ever done it because that would be a fucking crazy move. But I take that risk. And I always have friends of mine or people that I know that take very similar championship matchups or I have Illinois to win it all. A lot of people that I know specifically have Illinois to win it all. The point I'm making is I'm willing to, the trade-off for the people listening is that you pay me with a view on my video. That's all I ask. You watch the video and you get to know who I'm taking. Unless you're fucking Bam, who sat right there and I kid you not, took every single fucking pick except 2. Switched around 2 of them. Bam had the audacity. We have the same Sweet 16. We have the same Elite 8. We have the same Final 4. And I and Bam both have Arizona beating Illinois in the national championship. An unfucking believable move. Mind you, like I said, he's got his little baby-ass head on his pillow right now dreaming about God knows what. So he won't even know. We're up late in the studio. Bam's nowhere to be found. Bam took every pick. In real time, wrote them down as I gave them out to you, the viewer and listener. And he submitted that bracket. That's am I crazy to think that that's a crazy move?
It's crazy because some people don't, like some people's awareness of, like I'm sure maybe in his mind, he really thought he came up with that.
How is that possible?
Because some people are that delusional, and you'll see it all the time where people are like that. Like you'll tell somebody something 2 weeks ago,
yeah,
and then 2 weeks later they're spitting it out like they came up with it.
Yeah, and I love Bam, don't get me wrong. But what the fuck? When I saw that, I almost had to pull over. I was driving, I almost had to pull over. I couldn't believe he did that. I've joked like that would suck if somebody did that. And the guy in the room is actively doing it. Just an unbelievable move. He just plagiarized my whole bracket. If I win, Bam wins. Crazy. But all right, we got more important issues to get to. We're on to the round of 32. I've said it last year. I'll say it again this year. Although this one, this has been a great tournament in my opinion, and I feel like I've yet to come up for air. I went on a walk earlier. Took my daughter for a walk out in the sun. I was like, this is crazy. I haven't felt the sun in what feels like 48 hours. Chalky tournament means a good second round, and I think that's what we're in for. So we'll jump right into it. Like I said, we're going to be in the sports book all day tomorrow, and I'm going to be honest. I I'm feeling fucking good. I've had a great opening round, and we're going to try to keep it going. How many plays do you have for Saturday?
2 right now. I was thinking about 3.
Okay, I've got, I think, 4 for Saturday. I've got 7 total for the round of 32. And I'm starting it out right out the gate. St. Louis, Michigan. Are you on it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I think it's safe to say that no team in this tournament looked more unprepared than Georgia. Georgia looked like they forgot that they were supposed to be playing in March Madness. And St. Louis completely ran them out the gym. I don't think you're going to be able to do that against Michigan. I think you want to play through your leading scorer, Avila, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whatever you want to call him. Get ready to learn Ademara, pal. I don't think it's going to go well. I think the size that Mara has, I think it's going to make life very difficult for Avila. I think that Michigan is going to have their way with St. Louis. I just think that the athletes that they have, the size that they have at every position is going to be too much. I'm going to lay 12.5 points with Michigan as my first play for Saturday. And I'm kind of scratching my head. I feel like this should be a bigger spread. It is March. I understand that St. Louis, offensive and defensively in terms of efficiency, are pretty solid. They shoot it okay. They shoot it pretty well. I just think that Michigan, with their length and their ability to defend, I think the offense goes through Avila. The difference maker, the great equalizer is Ademara. I think he's going to be too much. So Michigan minus 12.5 will be my first play of the day. Which way are you going?
I'm going to Texas A&M and Houston. And I just don't think A&M's that great. Impressive win against St. Mary's. But, I mean, and I was on A&M. It's the only bet I won this whole damn time in this tournament. So I suspected that the press would give them a little bit of trouble, and then A&M, every time St. Mary's would close the gap a little bit, A&M would hit a timely shot. I just wonder if A&M offensively is good enough to take advantage here. Houston's too good. A&M's really relying on the three-point shot. Houston's a top 50 perimeter defense, and they're 4th ranked nationally in adjusted efficiency. And then A&M has some holes on the defensive side of the ball too, specifically protecting the paint and defensive rebounding. So I think there's a good chance here that Houston can open it up here. So we'll lay 10.5 with Houston.
Emmanuel Sharp, 3 of 3 from the three-point line in the first game against Idaho. Obviously, no sweat. We were on Houston, laid the number. It was easy. That was never in doubt, but Emmanuel Sharp was hitting shots right out the gate. He was 6 of 7 from the floor. I've said like a broken record, Houston can win it all if Emmanuel Sharp finds his shot in this tournament. So that's a good start. I would lean that way as well. For my second one, we're going to go to looking at TCU and Duke. Duke's laying 11.5. Siena gave Duke all that they could handle, to the point that I remember when no 16 seed had ever won, I never thought it was even remotely possible. And then you got 2 of it. It happened twice. So you know it's possible. Siena had an 11-point lead at halftime. They were hitting every single shot, getting a lot of lucky breaks going their way. Duke couldn't hit a shot to save their life. I got to the point where I was like, is this? No way. And we have no action on Duke throughout our brackets, and we're very anti-Duke this year. So that would have been huge for us. With that being said, Duke got the win. TCU had a big lead over Ohio State. They let Ohio State come back in the game, and I felt like Ohio State could have and probably should have won that game. But we're going to lay, long story short, we're going to lay 11.5 points with Duke here. I think the expectation is that Duke's going to get in Ngongba. I don't know how to pronounce it, so bear with me. I think it sounds like they're going to possibly get him back, last I saw. If they do, I think that's huge. They need him down low for size, and the way that TCU wants to play through punch, I think it's just too much size with him and Boozer, and defensively, the way that they can really kind of clamp down on that end. I think they'll be too much for punch. I don't think TCU has the offense to pick up any slack. They're going to need to shoot it well from the outside. I don't think they shoot it well enough. I expect you expect a little bit better of a shooting performance from Duke because it was that bad. But I think the defense will generate offense. I expect a sharper performance from the number 1 overall seed. Shire came out and took accountability in the press conference and said he got out-coached, his guys weren't ready, and blah, blah, blah. TCU was an underdog against Ohio State. They won outright, obviously very slim, 8-9 matchup, I understand. I think with how sloppy and just unprepared Duke looked, I have to believe that they're going to come out and play better basketball here, and I think that they'll be too much for TCU. You have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder to kind of wash that first performance out of the away. So we'll go Duke minus 11.5 as the second play for Saturday. Where are you going with your next one?
I'm going to Vanderbilt, Nebraska.
I'm on this as well.
And I'm leaning under 147.5. I don't know. I don't want to say that Vanderbilt's necessarily going to totally struggle offensively, but there's been, at least the past couple games, they've kind of got off to a not a great start, and then they figured it out towards the end a little bit. But I'm thinking Vanderbilt's going to need their defense here to step up big here. So we'll go under 147.5.
Okay. Out of respect, I'm going to scratch it. But I was going to take the over. Reason being, and the under feels like the right play for what it's worth. And so I kind of felt like maybe I was walking into a little bit of a bad play. So I'm going to scratch it no matter what is said post this sentence. But the way I was looking at it was both teams shoot it well from the outside. It's been some pretty poor performances from Vanderbilt scoring-wise the last couple games. Nebraska's half-court defense is fantastic. I think it's in Vanderbilt's best interest to crank up the tempo, and you gotta outrun them because the way Nebraska guards the perimeter and size-wise they match up pretty evenly. Neither has a ton of size. So I just kind of felt like Vanderbilt was going to have to push the pace here. You expect the guards to kind of get it going, and they both shoot it pretty well from the outside. But I do think Nebraska is going to want to slow it down. And so, yeah, I'm going to scratch it. But that was the way I leaned. I do have another total, though, and it's worth noting that I just added it up. I'm 14-2 betting totals. And a lot of them have been overs. So I've said that a bunch this year. Typically, I go the opposite direction, but not this year. And we are going to go back to an over with VCU and Illinois over 151.5. Outside of Terrence Hill Jr., VCU shot it pretty poorly as a team. He was 7 of 10 from the three-point line. But as a team, typically, they're 36.7% on the season from deep. So I expect a better shooting performance overall, so he doesn't have to be so much of a one-man show. Again, Illinois doesn't guard the perimeter that well. And if VCU can get a couple other guys to step up and knock down some outside shots, and then offensively, Illinois is Illinois. It's the best offense in the country. I've said it like a broken record. I think that they can create a mismatch with just about anybody in the country not named Michigan or Arizona. So we're going to go over 151.5. It just feels too light. I think money's come in on the under. This is too low. I'll get in on the over here. So VCU, Illinois over 151.5 is my third play and final play for Saturday.
What did it open at?
Looks like in the range of 154.5. Why? What are you thinking?
I don't know. I'll just stay away.
Do you have any more for Saturday?
I was looking at Arkansas High Point. I don't know.
Oh, I'm going to have action on this. I don't know that I felt confident enough to give anything out here, but this is the final game of the night while we're there. This is going to be an incredibly exciting game. What'd you lean?
High Point plus the points.
Oh, wow. I feel like if you lean High Point plus the points, you got to lean over.
Yeah, probably so. It's just so high of a total.
Yeah. But Arkansas's defense, I've seen like too many times this year play like absolute dog shit.
Yeah, and that's that's a big reason why I lean High Point is I wonder if. But
I can tell you right now, they're not going to be able to guard fucking Darius Acuff.
No.
So, yeah, I don't have anything on it officially. I will have action on it when that time comes. So anybody listening, if you want to message and see what we got as a ticket while we're there in the sports book, sure. But as an official play, I'm not going with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take High Point plus 11.5. And we touched on it. It's just Arkansas defensively. They almost just rely too much on Acuff and what's the other guy's name? Thomas?
Yeah, Malik Thomas. He doesn't play a fucking lick of defense, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they rely on offense too much. I think this is a case of one of the seeds that doesn't go away easily in High Point this year. So we'll lay 11 and we'll take the points plus 11.5.
Okay. Do you have anything else for? Do you have anything else for Saturday? Okay. Why is this not showing me Sunday? There we go. All righty. We go to Sunday, day 2 of the second round. For my first one of the day, going in chronological order, we're going to go to St. John's in Kansas. If you listen to our bracket breakdown, I kind of told you which way I'm leaning here. I said this was a very tough matchup, especially like in the bracket of the second round matchups. I felt like this was the toughest one to decide. So naturally, we're going to risk our money on it, I guess. Makes sense. But we're going to take Kansas here plus 2.5. Said it like a broken record. I truly think that this game is going to be kind of a defensive stalemate. Obviously, St. John's is going to want to push the pace. Emphasis on Kansas to get back in transition and not allow them to run you out of the building. But if this becomes a defensive battle like I expect, you got to lean Darren Peterson here as the guy who can create. And when it comes down to somebody's got to go make a shot one-on-one, he's the collegiate version of Kobe Bryant. I keep saying it. And sometimes they play like dipshits when he's on the court, and I think the ball stops moving more than it should, and this Kansas team's weird. It's just weird, but March is about the guards. March is about somebody to take over the game and make a shot and go win it. Darren Peterson's the guy to do it. He played well in a game where they kind of collapsed against Cal Baptist down the stretch, but we're going to fucking disregard that, and we're going to take the Jayhawks plus 2.5 here. Where are you going for Sunday?
Yeah, I'm going Kansas plus 2.5. And I picked Kansas because I like pain.
Yeah.
I like these games that are just, going to come down to the wire, and it's going to either make or break me.
Yeah.
Because I'm addicted to those. So
yeah.
I do think Kansas defensively can present a lot of problems for St. John's, and the main concern, here is rebounding. If Kansas can kind of even that out here, I think they'll have a good chance to win. But
yeah, they just have to collapse on Zuby Ejiofor, and they've got size with Tiller and Badunga, and I think you collapse on Ejiofor, make somebody else beat you, but I don't think St. John shoots it well enough from the outside. I think it makes it more one-dimensional for Kansas defensively and makes their life a little bit easier. And like I said, if all it takes, I can see it now, and I could be completely wrong, and maybe I eat these words, but it's going to be a stretch where they're going back and forth and nobody can really separate, and then Darren Peterson hits two or three threes in a row, and that could be the difference. So we've seen it a bunch where once he sees one go in, it's typically that second one's following right behind. So, but there's a chance St. John just clamps down on the defensive end and bullies him and pushes him around like we've seen other people do, and he's a little soft, but we'll see. My next one, we're going to Tennessee and Virginia. Virginia's getting 1.5, and we're going to take it. These two teams are so extremely similar, in my opinion. It comes down to I trust Virginia's offense to come through more times than Tennessee's. Miami of Ohio was a horrible matchup for Tennessee. I said that when we were doing the bracket breakdown. We were waiting to see if they got to Tennessee through the play-in, and they did. It was a bad matchup. They ran Miami of Ohio out of the gym. We should have took Tennessee in hindsight, but what can you do? I think this Virginia team matches up much better. Virginia is so as good as Tennessee is rebounding the ball, Virginia is that good at getting blocks on defense. So it's going to be a tough game to watch. It's going to be a very intriguing matchup-wise, stylistically. But with DeRitter and then the guards that that Virginia has, I just think they have more guys capable of spacing the floor with their shooting, whereas Tennessee's more one-dimensional with Gillespie. I trust Virginia to get the timely baskets needed. But I'm fully aware that it's going to be a frustrating one, and you're going to want to pull your hair out of your head at times, but I'm going to go Virginia plus 1.5. You got any more? Or are you done?
Shit.
What are you thinking? I got one more.
It's because I got to know. I'm looking at UCLA, Connecticut. Bilodeau didn't play today, even though the day before he looked good at practice. I guess he just didn't feel right today.
Mm-hmm.
So typically I would say there's no chance that he plays, but I do think that there's maybe an outside chance that he plays if he feels okay. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just stay away because I do kind of – I don't know. I feel like they'll need him here to win.
Yeah, I think certainly. Okay, I got one more then. And we are going to go to last game of the night. Fucking grab hold of something because this one could go either fucking way. Texas Tech, Alabama. It is going to be a ton of talent at the guard position. A ton of talent. Texas Tech has a ton of people who can shoot the ball really well. But if the shots aren't falling from the outside, I don't think that they have. Lawan Watts just isn't really good enough, in my opinion. I've come to that conclusion. It took me a couple weeks, but I don't think they have the necessary bodies down low. So believe it or not, I give Alabama the edge here, and we are going to take Alabama in a pick'em. I think the guards match up pretty evenly. I think with Sherrell and is it Stevenson, the freshman down low, they got a couple different guys. Allen. They've got a couple different guys down low that I think it gives them the edge in the front court. Yeah, it's Sherrell and then Amari Allen is who I was thinking of. They have a ton of guys that can shoot the ball. Aiden Holloway got popped for weed and trying to sell guns. Tale as old as time. Oh, well. Revolving door, somebody else can step in. Worst possible timing with your team on the doorstep of the tournament, but what can you do? The loss of JT Toppin, just with what he does, it was your leading scorer, leading rebounder. How far can Texas Tech go in the wake of Toppin tearing his ACL? And if they're hitting shots from the outside, they can go pretty damn far. But you saw them before Akron, you saw them lose 3 games in a row, TCU, BYU, and Iowa State. I think that the blueprint is there that if you really take away the perimeter like BYU did in that second half, life becomes a lot more difficult for them because the forwards and the guys in the front court just can't really create for themselves. I think that Alabama's going to the Sweet 16, so I'll take Bama in a pick'em. And that is all I have for round 2. You got anything else, or are you good?
Nope, that's it.
All righty, to recap, I'm taking Michigan minus 12.5, Duke minus 11.5, VCU, Illinois over 151.5, Virginia plus 1.5, Kansas plus 2.5, and Alabama in a pick'em.
All right, we're going to go Houston minus 10.5, High Point plus 11.5, Vanderbilt, Nebraska under 147.5, and Kansas plus 2.5.
There you go. That is our best bets for the round of the Jesus Christ. There you go. That is our best bets for the round of 32. Episode 254 is in the books. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. Like I said, 6-3 in the first round, 45-31 on the year. Bam, before this college basketball season started or before we transitioned over from football, he said, "You bet college basketball?" And that's the guy plagiarizing my entire fucking bracket. I don't just bet college basketball. I fucking own college basketball. It's my best sport. Am I going to jinx myself on the way out the door? Probably. But good luck. Round of 32. Hit the like and subscribe button.
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
I've been practicing this, but
A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I
that
rushed
was
it.
good. I liked it.